So usually in the second session, at some point, I say that, you know, I would really like to get to know whatever you can tell me about the important people in your life. So think of it as if you're emotionally and psychologically introducing me to the people in your life who really matter to you or mattered when you were younger. And and please start wherever you want to. Now that is very interesting also, because as you can imagine, part of what I'm looking for are what are the descriptions going to be like? Are they going to be complex and fleshed out? Are they going to be unidimensional and black and white? And all of that gives us information about the patient. Who's going to be talked about a lot? Who's left out? And I've had patients who have talked about one parent and not about the other at all, or who have talked about siblings, or who will say things like, oh, my mother was just an angel, my father was a bastard, or vice versa, you know, depending. Or my parents were all wonderful, my whole life was wonderful, which then of course begs the question about what they're doing in an analyst's office. But we've all done that when we started treatment. I did, I know. So, because you don't know what you don't know, right? That's why we have intensive treatment. And then between the second and the third sessions, I go over my notes, I look at areas that I realize, oh my goodness, the patient didn't talk about this at all, and I didn't ask about this at all. So usually if that happens, then in the third session, again, I'll ask if there are any thoughts between the second and the third session. And sometimes the thoughts are richer and they're more powerful because they're feeling freer. And all of that to me is very hopeful in terms of the patient being able to get into a treatment that is insight-oriented. You know, whether it's psychodynamic psychotherapy once or twice a week, whether it's psychoanalytic therapy 3 or 4 times a week, whether it's psychoanalysis proper, however you define it. I think of it as often as possible during the week. And I do find that in analysis, seeing people 5 times a week for analysis creates the greatest intimacy and the greatest chance for understanding things deeply. So we talk about whatever might be left over that we didn't discuss earlier. We talk about that in the first part of the third session,